Steph's a really, really nice guy. And in fact, he's the same guy that's in Who Killed Nancy Johnson, and we loved that EP on the show as well.
Yeah.
Completely different. But the interesting thing about the Bronsons that he said was, he said it's really difficult for them to kind of go into a studio and record something because they're essentially a live band. So I think the track we played last time was a live track that he'd sort of recorded off a desk and wasn't sure whether to release or not, and I think they did release it after we played it actually because the reaction was pretty good. But yeah, they just I can't wait to see them because I'm going to be there all day before and after I play, so I'm looking forward to seeing them and actually meeting Steph in person because he's someone I've known for a long time over the interwebs but not personally. So yeah, that's a great tune and they're a brilliant band.
Now, tell us a little bit more about the festival. Is it going to be a day, 2 days? I mean, where we can get tickets, that sort of thing?
It's going to be a day festival. It is at the moment. Eventually, I have bigger plans and camping plans, but not for the next year or two at least. This year, doors are at 11. Music starts at 11:30, and we run through till 8:30 in the evening. Just simply because we're not running later than that because I don't want to hack the neighbours off and spoil my chances of using the site again. It's always better to keep neighbours on side and prove they're not trying to harass them or anything unpleasant like that. Tickets are available through C-Tickets, and you can find the link on sussexmusicfestival.com. Which is our website. We are also on Facebook under Sussex Music Festival. We also have a Twitter account, which is Sussex Music Fest, which I do endeavour to keep updated. But on all of the website and social media outlets, there are links to the tickets. Tickets are £9 each, which, considering you get to hear 24 bands play, it's a really, really good deal. Under 18s are free, and as I say, it's a family-driven thing, so there's lots of stuff for the kids. You can bring your kids, they can go and play on the bouncy castles, which is free. There are children's entertainers, face painters, and for the adults, there's loads of music. There's a bar, two this year, two proper bars. There's catering by professional chefs. It's a really good day out.
Yeah, for that price, for sure, because even in Canadian dollars, like $15. That's nothing. And for 24 bands, so that's pretty impressive. I'm not sure if this is kind of putting you in a spot, but how did you actually? Let me rephrase this one moment here. So with all the stuff that sometimes I don't necessarily think before I speak, so I try to most of the time, but just rather than stick my foot in my mouth, I'm gonna rephrase a little bit and kind of change it up. But what I was gonna ask about is just having all this at the festival. I mean, it's quite the arrangement. I mean, how do you kind of keep your head straight when you're trying to arrange bands in certain orders throughout the day, and not just one stage but two stages, but then on top of that, throwing these face painters and everything else it's pretty much making it available to everybody. I mean, that's got to be or ripping your hair out stressed to get through.
Preparation is key, and probably every time Mike sees me, I think I'm getting more grey hairs by the day, but it's fine. I enjoy it. It's good fun. Preparation is key, getting everything lined up in advance and just communicating with both the stall holders and the bands, because some gigs you go to, you message the band sort of 2 or 3 days before and go, what time are you playing? And invariably they go, oh, I don't actually know. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I do things a little bit differently. All my bands knew what time they were playing months ago.
Right.
And also on Facebook, every week in the run-up, we did the first one, which was actually 1 in 5. Every week on a Friday before the festival, we do spotlights, just talking a bit about the bands and putting their links up there. So once people come to the festival, the bands and the music aren't completely new to them if they've been following us on Facebook, obviously. So it gives the band some exposure as well, and keeps me on my toes and reminds me to talk to people.
Well, you know what? I tell you what, that it's really something you're doing there, and I mean, for myself personally, I mean, I do the show, well, our music Saturday show once a week, but even sometimes with that, I kind of stress out just a little bit because I get a lot of submissions and trying to arrange them all into like a certain order and a certain way that I think that Mike and I kind of want to hear things and the rest of people will enjoy. And that can be painful enough. I mean, there's a lot of times too. I'll be sitting there and I'll literally make a last minute decision. I'll pull a song and replace it with another one that's not even on the list. I just thought I was like, no, this would fit a lot better there instead. So, and hats off to you because that's like a million times the work that you guys are doing.
Yeah, it doesn't really help if you're somewhat OCD about running to time. I am really, really pedantic about it. And everyone, when we were running the festival last year, like, it won't run to time. You'll run late. You know, it won't work. You can't have this. I was like, no, it's fine. It will work. Because because of neighbour issues last year, we finished at 8, and I was so dead set on it running. And actually, to be fair, we did run late, but by 10 minutes, which, considering we chucked the band that opened are actually, they will probably unofficially open again this year. I'm just kind of working the beginning of the day slightly. There are a bunch of Copthorne students that we showcased, and they are really, really good. But because at the very start of the day there wasn't too many people around, we let them go back on for an extra song halfway through the day because we felt they deserved the opportunity. And considering that, we ran 10 minutes late, so I'm pretty happy about that. I just want to repeat that this year.
Well, it sounds like it's definitely possible. I mean, that's great. I mean, and you're right, timing is everything. I mean, Mike and I are a little lax on time just because something always happens. We end up starting late, and not always like really late. There's sometimes we're right on time, but a lot of times it's just because we catch up before we go on air, and then we go on air, and it's like, okay, well, but we usually are able to kind of make it up most of the time, and sometimes we might have scrapped a few or kind of switch into the second part. But I totally I get it. I get the time frame thing, but like I said, for the most part, I mean, we do have time constraints, but we're a little lax on them.
Yeah. With us, it's somewhat self-imposed. We need to finish around 8:30 because I don't want to annoy the neighbours.
No, fair enough.
We can't serve alcohol after 8:30, which is what the licence runs to. And ideally, I want people heading home in a timely, quiet fashion post-festival because that keeps everyone happy. And also, my biggest bugbear is if you, as a band, or in my case, someone that supports the band, rock up and you're meant to go on and you're an hour and a half late on and you only get half of your set because you're so late. It's really, really irritating. So consequently, that doesn't happen with anything I'm involved in. Touch wood.
No, I can.
I'm setting myself up badly here, aren't I?
To be honest, I now feel bad that I said I didn't know what time we were on earlier. So I have to look that up because you have told us. I just can't remember.
Yeah.
Invariably, everyone asks again, but I did give it to you.
Oh no, you've definitely given it to us, so we've got to know. But it's just we've got probably 5, 6, maybe 10 gigs sort of lined up, some of which are announced and some aren't, so I can't remember all off the top of my head.
Yeah,
but we promise we'll be there on time. And we'll run to time on stage. Yeah, but I have to say that was the cool thing about the showcase gig that we did, and I mean there's a few cool things about that. One is that actually all 4 of the bands, including us, which obviously I was happy about, but all 4 of the bands got on, I think, didn't they? So you absolutely nailed that first showcase. But the second thing was it did run really, really well, and we are, you know, we've been in various bands. We've been in this band for a few years. We've been in various bands between us for 15 years odd each, and no gig runs to time, and you always end up with a shorter set or a shorter changeover time or a combination of the two, or just you know, we've done gigs where we've played all of our songs twice as fast just to squeeze them in. So we were all commenting, but like, oh, that was really seemed pretty well organised. Bodes well for the festival.
That showcase, actually, that gave us all grey hairs because I think you got caught in the traffic as well. There was massive traffic jams. There was a football game. The trains weren't working. The only one that got to the gig to do the sound check was Sarah, the photographer.
Yeah, and that was actually the one where our drummer knocked himself out. I think 2 days before. We weren't.
Oh
sure
yes,
if
yeah,
he was
concussion. I remember.
he turned up heavily concussed. We weren't sure if he was even going to make it, but we all got there. But from the moment the doors opened, it was tight ship. It was there, which we were really impressed with.
We had a lot of fun that night.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Right on. Well, we're going to get to our next song here to preview. The band's called The Ultraviolet. And the song's called Wake Up Dead. Dig this. Right on. That was the Ultraviolet with Wake Up Dead. Now, this song I really enjoyed because